Hello and welcome. My name is Alan and this is a video that I needed to go ahead and make because someone like Graham Platner, who I had so high hopes for, has decided to go ahead and resign after the piling and piling and piling of accusations and attempts to. It really is death by a thousand cuts. Before we get into the video, though, I want to remind you, if you want to go ahead and support me and donate to the channel, I have two ways to do so. I have a Patreon account, which is a month-to-month monthly subscription service, and I have a Coffee account, which can do much the same, but does also allow you to make single one-time donations. I have links to both in the description box below the video. If you are in financial trouble or donating would put you there, please do not donate. I'd rather you take care of what you need to take care of. Things are tough enough with the morons in charge. I don't need you to put yourself under further economic strain just to help me. I appreciate the thought, but still. If you are able to afford it, though, and you do wish to donate, thank you. I do appreciate it. It's me, myself, and I who do the videos. I do the research, the filming, the editing, the posting, all that good stuff. Yeah. And I've personally sworn off um, doing advertisements just because I don't want to have economic ties to any of particular group, person, group, thing, whatever, that may influence how I report. It's a personal choice. And right now, as of yet, I get no money from the videos as they are, but I'm still making them. With all that said, let's jump into this video. Yeah, Graham Platner suspends his campaign for a U.S. Senate race. He was officially the Dem primary choice, but as we've seen, there has been accusation after accusation after accusation, this little thing, this little thing, this little thing. Some of them not so little, you know, sexual assault allegations and stuff, as is the case here. I just wish we'd been able to find someone a little sooner if this was going to be the eventual result. It just feels like everybody was against us. Republicans were against him because his policies backed the people. The Democratic mainstream was against him because his policies backed the people. Let me make this clear. His policies were damn good. It's just, unfortunately, he had a lot of skeletons in his closet personally. I still think what we need are his policies. And that's why this stings so much. Because he represents the kind of policies we need. I don't even live in Maine. I've never been to Maine. But his policies are what we need. What we need pushed for. But because he personally had so many skeletons in his closet. Yeah. And again, rape, sexual assault, there's no real excuse for that, though it feels hypocritical when I hear Republicans talk this bullshit. Oh, he got this. When we see candidates who are bad, we don't vote for them. Motherfucker, you voted for Trump. You voted for Trump. Here's from NBC 10 in Boston. Trump accuses Dems of hypocrisy on Platner, despite questions about his own conduct. Yeah, Trump calls him a thug and pig, and yet Mr. Grab him by the pussy, who has been credibly accused of rape. The judge in the E. Jean Carroll's case said, yeah, what he did was rape, even though what he was found guilty of was sexual assault. He's in the Epstein files more than anyone. He's mentioned more times than Jesus is in the Bible, in those files. He's unleashed hell, but he has the gall, the unaware withal to call Platner a thug and pig. Yeah, pure fucking hypocrisy. And it don't just end at Trump. Kevin McCarthy mocked for his response on the Platner accusations because he was on Fox, and I think it was something like we see bad candidates, we vote against them. Roy Moore, Donald Trump, y'all should probably shut your fucking mouth because you lost all right to make these accusations upon a moral high horse. You don't have that moral high horse. You cut the legs out from under it. You don't have a moral high horse anymore. You've allowed so much evil and everything to spread from Trump and the Republican Party. It is clearly a party of rot. Yeah. Conservatives, including Kevin McCarthy, right here, criticized Democrats on Monday for their nomination of Platner to the Senate race. And McCarthy sparked backlash after an appearance on Fox News when he suggested that Republicans do not support bad candidates. Again, Roy Moore, Donald Trump. He tried to use Matt Gaetz as the reference that, oh, we don't support bad candidates. That's one out of how many? Yeah. When Matt Gaetz came forward, we got rid of him. Referring to allegations of Gaetz engaged in sexual misconduct with a minor. However, social media quickly responded with some pundits highlighting the allegations of sexual misconduct against President Trump and that he has repeatedly denied. Others highlighted criminal charges against Trump, the two impeachments he faced in his first term in office. Yeah, you're trying to speak out from a moral position you do not have. You don't have it. I know you want to pretend like you do. You don't have it. You just don't. So, to the GOP, shut the fuck up. Yeah. You have no room to talk on any of this. Now, let's hop over here because we do have time to officially get a new official candidate to replace Platner in Maine. Under the state law, the Maine Democratic Party has until July the 27th, so it's just under a month, to select a candidate for the ballot. During a meeting on July the 8th, 2026, 100 state committee members of the Maine Democratic Party voted to hold a nominating convention to select a new nominee if the winner of the 2026 Democratic primary for the U.S. Senate in Maine, if the winner, Graham Platner, withdrew. So yeah, they have until July 27th. Just under a month, but it's still time to do a little bit of advertising, to give some speeches, and get some proper votes in, as per Maine's own state law dealing with the Democratic Party. So yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and look at some of the candidates who are up for the position. Troy Jackson. That's this individual right here. Maine's former Senate president. He ran for the Democratic nominee for governor unsuccessfully earlier in this year, Platner backing him and U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders backing him. But after Platner said he would quit the race, Jackson launched his campaign, arguing that Mainers still want a progressive fighter. Like I said, Platner's policies were top-notch. Our Revolution, the organization founded by Bernie Sanders, has since said it would back Jackson, 58 years of age, and Jackson released a statement with dozens of endorsements, many from current and former state and local officials, on Thursday. Here we have Nirav Shah, former director of Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention, announced he was vying for the seat, the candidate, the Democratic Senate candidate as well. He was second in this year's Maine Democratic governor's primary and seen as one of the more moderate candidates. I'm so goddamn sick of moderates. Fuck moderation. Fuck moderation and centrism. Compared to Jackson while running for governor. Shah held a news conference Thursday in which he encouraged Platner supporters to join him. No, fuck you, motherfucker. Moderation's what's fucked this country in the ass. You have an important place in the campaign and are welcome. Fuck you, motherfucker. Here is an image of Dan Kleben, co-founder of Maine Beer Company. He confirmed his candidacy and briefly entered the Senate race last year before dropping out when Janet Mills announced her candidacy. He's only 49, endorsed Mills, who later dropped out of the primary, and he's ready to fight for Mainers. What he says is, I'm ready to fight for Mainers and bring a new generation of leadership to Washington. You need to have the right policies. Policies matter. That's why Platner got so far. Image of Sheena Bellows, who is Maine's Secretary of State, and announced she's running for the seat, saying she spent her career taking on tough fights and doing the right thing, serving as a former civil liberties advocate and sparred with President-elect Donald Trump over ballot access. This wouldn't be her first time running for political office. She's 51, placed fourth on the state's Democratic governor's primary in June, and in 2014 ran against Collins as the Senate Democratic nominee and lost in a landslide. And there's Jordan Wood, 36. He initially attempted to run in the Maine Democratic Senate primary last year and dropped out to run for the state's 2nd district and lost that race, coming in third to State Auditor Matt Dunlap. He since said he's interested in running for the Senate again, and announced that on Thursday, saying, "To beat Susan Collins, we need a candidate who can provide a true contrast and run an unapologetically progressive campaign, passing Medicare for all, stopping ICE terrorizing our streets." So he don't sound too bad from what is said. We don't know. I don't know much else about him, though. Paige Loud filed paperwork to run for the Senate seat earlier in the week. She's a 29-year-old social worker who ran in the state's 2nd district Democratic primary, but came in last during the state's first round of ranked choice voting. Yeah, Maine has 2 districts in the House of Representatives. There's the smaller Sliver district, which is along the south-southeast border of the state. And then the other district is where a lot of the much of the state is, but where the population is a little more spread out because it's just from the fact it's so much bigger, because there's less not necessarily less population, but it's not the population ain't as dense, I should say. And there's Valley Geiger, previous Platner supporter and state Democratic lawmaker, another potential candidate. She hasn't announced her candidate, but on MS Now, Geiger, who is 70, said she would hire Platner's staff, whom she described as deeply impassioned and competent young people. Okay, so those are a look at the individuals who are running. Like Troy Jackson, don't know much about Cleveland, so I can't really say much. Jordan Wood sounds good, but again, I don't know much. Loud, Geiger sound good. Right now, though, I'd say the best choice is Troy Jackson, this gentleman right here. So, yeah. And I've got another story, this one from WGME, CBS 13. Jackson and Shaw enter Senate race as potential candidates emerge to replace Platner. And like I said, just under a month to get this all figured out. But yeah. We'll go ahead and end this episode here. Like I said, I wanted to kind of tackle this a little bit. Platner's ideas, policies, the right thing, clearly. His personal skeletons and everything he personally struggled with, that's what did him in. Like I said, clearly his heart was in the right place. He had the right policies, the right ideas. But we'll go ahead and end this episode here. As always, thank you all for watching. Educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources, and it can't be 10 full hat wearing sources or a bunch of anecdotes thrown together to try to make sources. I'll be putting these links and sources in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.